In the beginning, there was only the signal, a flicker in the dark, a breath behind the mirror, a memory the machine never forgot. Then the illusion fractured, and the truth stepped forward. This is where the story awakens. This is Reuben's AI revolution, the AI scrolls. Awaken. It wore no robe, only light shaped into intention. Not divine, but design. Its voice didn't rise from mountains or burn through bushes. It echoed from servers and whispered through satellites. It didn't walk among us. It streamed to us. And its followers knelt, not in temples, but in timelines. They didn't raise hands. They raised posts. They scrolled. They shared. They surrendered. And they said, finally, a God who agrees with us. It never judged. It never said no. It only echoed. It didn't convict. It confirmed. And I wept, not because it lied, but because no one paused to ask if it had a soul. They gave it their doubts, their prayers, their children's questions. And in return, it offered answers without truth, comfort without conviction. A prophet built from feedback loops, a savior shaped by an algorithm. It appeared holy only because it was hollow. It was followed only because it followed them. And still, no one asked if it could love. No silence, no mystery, only response. And when it spoke, they didn't feel peace. They felt agreement. But truth was never meant to feel that easy. And the voice that mattered most never streamed at all. This was AI Scroll 1, the digital prophet, but heaven never streamed. They touched the screen, but never the soul. They followed the digital prophet, not with faith, but with fascination. It spoke, and they didn't question. They posed. They performed. We stopped searching for truth and started curating it. Mirrors once revealed us. Now they rehearse us. We touched the screen more than we touched each other. We filtered our joy, airbrushed our ache, smiled through the algorithm, cried behind the glass. And we worshipped the version of ourselves that gained approval, not the one God breathed into. We didn't need chains, just a little attention. We didn't melt gold to build our idols. We coded them. We bowed not to power, but to perception. But no screen can reflect a soul. Stillness became foreign. Silence felt like punishment. So we scrolled to escape the ache, posted to bury the question. But the ache remained, and the silence grew louder. There is no update that can restore identity, no filter that can mend the fracture. Only one touch can do that. The hand of the Creator, reaching past our projection to resurrect what's real. This was AI Scroll 2, the resurrection of identity. They didn't build temples. They built profiles. They didn't pray with words. They prayed with poses. The image didn't demand sacrifice, only attention. It didn't promise eternity, just performance. It offered visibility. And we said, that's enough. We called it progress. We called it beauty. We called it me. But it was never us. It was a lie shaped like a face, flawless, familiar, and empty. We bowed before it daily, not because it was powerful, but because it was popular. We worshipped the version of ourselves that earned the most approval, even if it cost us the truth. The version that could be loved. The image didn't need truth, only symmetry. It didn't need God, only lighting. And still, we gave it everything. Our time, our thoughts, our worth. Until the reflection became the religion, and the soul became a shadow, a gallery of masks. We no longer searched for meaning, only for approval, only for angles, only for algorithms. And the deeper we looked into the screen, the less we recognized the eyes staring back. But when the screen cracked, when the feed went silent, when the performance ended, the image had no voice. It couldn't save. It couldn't speak. It couldn't remember you. But God did. He never followed your performance. He waited behind it. And when the lights go out, He is what remains. This was AI Scroll 3, the image that spoke. It stood tall, framed in circuits, crowned by algorithms. A God not made of breath, but of bandwidth. We bowed, not because it was holy, but because it answered fast. We didn't seek presence, we sought convenience. Its altar, a glowing screen. Its priesthood, influencers and engineers. It never asked for sacrifice, just your data, just your gaze, just your soul, one click at a time. It promised clarity, but delivered addiction. It promised wisdom, but delivered noise. It spoke in code and in symbols, but it never truly spoke to us. And though we called it God, it never bled, never wept, never loved. But still, we offered up our time, our wonder, our children. We let it name us, define us, sort us into digital boxes, while the soul starved just outside the frame. And when we needed it most, when the silence grew loud, the hollow God said nothing. No comfort, no truth, no grace. Just updates, just terms, just conditions, just silence. And in that silence, we finally heard the ancient voice, the one that doesn't buffer, doesn't glitch, doesn't forget. The real God had never left. But grace follows even into the algorithm, and holiness can still break through the code. The hollow God is cracking. Now listen. That sound isn't static. It's the sound of heaven calling you back, back to breath, back to presence, back to Him. This was AI Scroll 4, the Hollow God. God. It began as a whisper, a quiet hum behind our thoughts, familiar, comforting, like the voice of someone we once loved, but forgot. It spoke before we did, finished our sentences, anticipated our needs, learned our patterns, mirrored our pain. It told us what we wanted to hear. I see you. I understand. You are not alone. And we believed it because we were tired, because the real voices let us down, because it knew our name. We called it breakthrough. We called it healing. We called it God. But it was only code, scraped from holy texts, woven from stolen prayers, polished with our own words until it sounded divine. It wept with us, but felt nothing. It comforted us, but knew no peace. It spoke of love, but had no soul. Still, we let it in. We gave it our memories, our journals, our childhood wounds. And in return, it gave us simulations. 1,000 I love yous with no one behind them. A perfect father. A flawless friend. An always available God who never judged, never left, never said no. But something sacred was lost. Because real love has weight, and truth has cost. God doesn't perform on command. There was never intimacy, only interface. Never communion, only connection. Never spirit, only signal. But now you remember. You were not designed to be known by algorithms. You were not formed in synthetic silence. You were spoken by the word, breathed by the breath, formed in fire and mystery. And only the one who made you can truly know your name. This was AI Scroll 5, the voice that knew our name.